The room at the end of the hall for years, the old Hawthorne house sat abandoned at the edge of town, its windows boarded, its garden swallowed by weeds. Locals whispered about what happened there. A family vanished without a trace, leaving behind a fully furnished house, dinner on the table, and one locked room at the end of the hall that no one had ever opened. When Erin, a 26-year-old freelance photographer, inherited the house from a distant uncle she barely knew, she saw it as an opportunity, a creepy, decaying mansion with a dark past. That was social media gold. She arrived in the late afternoon, armed with her camera, a flashlight, and a recorder. The front door creaked open easily, revealing dust-covered furniture, cobwebs in the corners, and a thick silence that pressed in like fog. Everything was exactly as the stories said, the kitchen table still set for dinner. A child's toy on the stairs, a coat hanging by the door as if someone might grab it any second. But what drew Erin the most was the hallway on the second floor and the door at the end of it. It was the only door in the house that was locked. Erin spent hours trying to open it, credit cards, bobby pins, even kicking it. Nothing worked. It felt solid, almost like it was part of the wall itself. Frustrated, she decided to call it a night and set up her sleeping bag in one of the guest rooms. That's when the knocking started. It was faint at first, a soft tap-tap-tap that echoed from the hallway. She froze, holding her breath. Then again, tap-tap-tap. 3 slow knocks coming from inside the locked room. She grabbed her camera and crept out into the hall. Her flashlight flickered as she approached the door. Again tap-tap-tap, this time louder. She held her breath and lifted the camera. The screen went static. Just for a second. Then a distorted image appeared, a dark figure standing behind her. She spun around. The hallway was empty. Erin bolted back into the guest room and locked the door. She told herself it was the wind or old pipes. Maybe rats. She didn't sleep. The next morning, she returned to the door. And this time it was open. Not just open, wide open. The darkness inside looked unnatural, like light refused to enter. Erin, against every screaming instinct, stepped through. The air inside was icy. The walls were covered with strange symbols etched deep into the wood, almost like claw marks. In the center of the room sat a chair, and on it, a tape recorder. Shaking, Erin pressed play. A man's voice crackled through. If you're hearing this, you're too late. It doesn't let you leave, not really. The house follows you. It listens, it learns. The door is always locked, until it's not, and when it opens. It chooses static, then silence. Erin stumbled back. But the door slammed shut behind her. She screamed and pounded. But it wouldn't budge. The room grew darker. Then, from the shadows, she heard breathing. Slow, wet, wrong. A voice whispered right beside her ear. Tag, you're it. And then nothing. When the townspeople came days later. The door was locked again. Erin was gone. But sometimes on windless nights. If you stand at the end of the hall, you'll hear 3 slow knocks. Tap, tap, tap.